Hey guys, what's going on? Matt here, back again with another video. Today we're going to go through episode 7 of the Market Watch series, and what a time we've had so far in the last couple of weeks of sports. Yesterday we had the Milwaukee Bucks get over the Phoenix Suns for their second championship in the NBA, and that was Giannis's first championship, which is huge for him. We've also had the Euros end. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, or maybe about a week ago, with Italy winning against England in the penalty shootout. So huge for the Italians out there. And then we've also got the Olympics coming up this weekend, where we've got swimming, athletics, and basketball. It's probably the three most watched sports. And yeah, we can probably see if there's going to be some price movements based on that. But we're going to keep today's episode of the Market Watch series based off the NBA Finals and go through probably the four biggest players to come out of that whole Finals matchup. And who better to start off than the Finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So his first ever championship, and honestly, it's really changed a lot of people's opinions about him. Maybe not too many, because I think I was one of those who was in the boat that, thought that he probably wouldn't win a championship, but really I do respect him now. I love the way he handled himself after the game. And yeah, as we can see in his cards prices, he's jumped up 25% for his rookie cards over the past 7 days. I think when we compare this to his teammate, you'll see why. But I think he's had a bigger jump. Also winning the Finals MVP and having that great performance, but also because he had an injury in the conference finals, which people would have sold off quite early. His price would have dropped, and then now we're seeing that big jump in his card prices. So the card I will look at today is his Prism PSA 9, pop count of just over 1,000. I know the PSA 10 has a pop count of just over 2,000, so it is easy to gem this card. But yeah, over the past week, this card has gone up from just under $600, and we're seeing it peak to just over $1,000 US. So I think 365 days ago, I wouldn't be surprised if this card was actually higher back then, because like I was saying, yeah, as you can see, it was actually at $3,300, because Giannis had this huge hype, and surprisingly, if you actually bought him last year, and if you told anyone that you'd buy a Giannis rookie card in July last year, or August last year even, and then said to him, yeah, he won the championship a year later, and his cards have actually gone down three times, you probably be thinking like that's a joke, but that's basically the reality of what's happened with Giannis's market. That price up here is someone who's won probably 2 or 3 championships, and that's just it really. He's just won championships. We had that disappointment last year in the playoffs against the Miami Heat, and then now we've seen that kind of card price spike back up. So it did hit a floor of around $500 US, but has slowly come back up, as we can see. But that's the one I wanted to really note with Giannis. And I do think with this sort of card and this championship win, you're probably not going to see these $500 prices as much anymore. Normally, with a championship win, cards do fall afterwards, even though they've won. It's because the hype is built into their price leading up to an event. So people were anticipating maybe when they were up 3-2, they would have were probably going to win because they were playing at home, and people were starting to sell already. So I wouldn't be surprised if that $1,200 price is the peak for now. Or sorry, the $1,000 price is the peak for now, and then it might drop to a floor of around $700 or $800. But I don't know about it reaching that $500 sort of price point again. I think you kind of missed the boat there. But yeah, for Giannis, that's huge. To bring his floor up, I think that's going to be huge for his legacy. And he's still only 26 years old, so a lot of time to win more championships. So let's look at his Robin, the Robin to his Batman, and that's Chris Middleton. So Chris Middleton was someone who was quite inconsistent during the playoffs. He had games where he looked like Kobe Bryant, and then he had games where he looked like Kyle Kuzma. Quite funnily enough, that I said probably the time to sell was when he had those big games in the conference finals when Giannis was out. I said the only reason I could see someone holding Chris Middleton until the end of the finals as if he actually won the finals MVP himself. But over the last 7 days, he's up 6%. So even if you did sell in the last sort of couple of weeks, 6% is nothing to really cry about. But yeah, so the card I will look at again is his Prism-based PSA 9. This one is over the past 30 days. So 30 days ago, you could have snagged this one for $63 US. I actually sold at around this point. I think it was around here. So around $100 US. So missing out on a little bit of profit, but now this card's at $105 US. So as you can see, nothing really crazy. And we have that fall because people would have thought the Milwaukee Bucks would get... No, actually, no, this is during the finals. So I think maybe this is when Phoenix were up 2-0. So this is where people were like, nah, Milwaukee aren't going to win it. And then we see that slow, or that pretty much that, it doubled in price. So quite crazy how the market can be so volatile and change in the matter of pretty much a week. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say with Chris Middleton. Next player, Chris Paul. So down 20% over the last 7 days. Oh, it's hard. I'm a Chris Paul fan, seeing him at Houston. It's hard to say this, but I do feel like that was his best chance of winning a championship. I feel like with the Lakers all reloaded next year, the Warriors coming back, all these rising teams in the West, Utah Jazz, even if they can actually have some consistency, really, could that be Phoenix? Like, I can't see Phoenix being number 1, number 2 seed. I can really see them being around that 3 to 6 seed consistently. And with Chris Paul aging, you know, how are they going to really hold up next year with DeAndre Ayton? You know, yeah, they still have a young core, which is quite good, but Chris Paul, over the past 7 days, down 20%. And this is the thing with Chris Paul is he has that reputation as being reliable, but at key moments during the playoffs, like in Game 5, where he had a key turnover at the end of the game, he's just shown that he is prone to making human mistakes, no matter how experienced he is. But yeah, so as you can see, the slow trending down over the past month, it really hasn't even moved from a month ago, so $250 US, coming down now to $56 US. I reckon that was just probably, I reckon someone's just snagged a really lucky one there. It's a massive outlier, but I reckon this $100 price to $150 US, $100 to $150 US price is probably where he should be priced at, because he still has a relatively low pop count with the PSA 9, but I think that's where it should be, not at that $56. Whoever got that $56 auction has gotten a steal. But yeah, with Chris Paul, that's one I wanted to note. Last player to note today from that Sun series, Devin Booker, down 13% for his rookie cards over the past 7 days. Now, the Devin Booker actually played quite well during the finals. I think my one gripe with him as well is during the clutch moments, neither him or Chris Paul were players that I could really sort of depend on in the clutch. Like, they were both... They both seem like they weren't ready for it. And with Devin Booker, he's still quite young, so he still has time to learn. And with Stephen A. Smith calling him the next Kobe, I can definitely see that. He just needs to work on that clutch game. And yeah, that'll come with some experience. He's still really young. But with Devin Booker as well, yeah, first finals appearance, played really well. First playoffs appearance as well. Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They only made the bubble and were undefeated. But I will be looking at Devin Booker for the future. He played really well during the season. He started off quite poorly, but yeah, towards the end of the season, started easing into the game, and in the finals had a great performance. So let's move on to the card that I will be looking at, and that's his Prism-based PSA 9. So as we can see, slowly trending down. Hadn't really moved for about 3 weeks, and then we get to 4 or 5 days ago, $300, just over $300 for the Prism-based PSA 9, and we see with each day this card has dropped. So I don't know what the floor with this card will be. Maybe around the high hundreds, or maybe mid to high hundreds, so 150 to 180, I'd say. But I can see that falling, and I probably would be looking to enter the market on Devin Booker. Not sure what card I'd be looking for yet, but like I said, I've got a bit more confidence in him, and I think his game does hold up well in the playoffs, and that will come with the experience as well, because being his first playoffs experience, he's not expected to be perfect as well. So that was the card I wanted to note with Devin Booker, and who knows what the floor will be with this card. I reckon, yeah, like I said, around that $150 range will be the price for me. So Let's finish it off with the biggest market rises over the past 7 days, as we always do. And we'll go through names and see if there's anyone that I really want to know. Mac Jones is there. There's probably more draft picks cards. I don't really know. Look at that too much. Colton Johnson, who got named to the USA team, I think officially, because now they've had 3 players pull out because of the COVID stuff happening, which is quite unfortunate. Let me just get that there. There we go. Giannis is in there, which is good, and it's good to see that with the huge amount of sales he had as well. He's gone up. As you can see, his scales are ridiculous compared to the other ones in the biggest market rises, so it shows there. So maybe we'll look at this in a couple of weeks' time and see whether he's in the biggest market fallers or whether he's still going up or whether his price is just really maintained. Damian Lillard's in here. Trade rumors for him. Romanov, Mason Greenwood, Mikal Bridges is in there as well for the Suns, even though they've lost. Terry McLaurin, good to see him. Kyle Lewis is in here. Rui Hachimura. Juan Soto. So I think Juan Soto is playing quite well in the MLB. Got a few cards of him. I just don't know. Well, don't really follow too much of the MLB. This is a name I'm glad to see. Bobby Porter. So I actually mentioned this in one of my Ship My Cards mail days. I said Bobby Porter's. I only really had a green prism and a base prism and a silver prism of him, but Bobby Portis is someone you should be watching for on that Bucks team. He has the ability to be a great role player off the bench, and he's also become a meme player at the same time with his crazy eyes. So, great to see Bobby Portis in here. I think on the Bulls, he had stints where he averaged like around 15 points a game, which is quite solid. So I've always thought, as a role player, he's someone that can be quite reliable. And now he's got that ring, so there you go. Tiger Woods, Larry Bird, Allen Iverson, Wendell Carter Jr. A lot of vintage names in here, and then Pascal Siakam is there as well. So let's go to the biggest market fallers for the past 7 days. Trey Mancini. So Trey Mancini, I think, was in the home run derby, from what I gather. Okoro. AJ Dillon's in the biggest fallers. AJ Dillon's either been in the biggest rises or the biggest fallers, I swear. RJ Hampton, Cameron Johnson, so Suns being knocked out, quite explainable. Derrick Henry, Cole Anthony. I'm just looking at the big numbers here. So Chris Paul's here, 20%. Alphonso Davies. Pedri is in here, who played quite well in the Euros and was actually named to the team of the tournament, being a young player. Trevor Lawrence is in here, but I think that's more his draft pick stuff, so expect him to be continuously in here until he gets some proper Prism and Pro uniform stuff coming out. Anything else you want to see here? 52, so that's Brandon Clark, no. Devin Booker's in here. Justin Fields again. Pete Alonso. So Pete Alonso won the home run derby. I was actually going to have him in this episode, I was going to record it last week, but ran out of time. But won the home run derby and would have had a price rise, and now we see a price fall. Zach Wilson again from that 20, and Trey Lance as well from the 2021 NFL draft. And that is it from all I wanted to know. So that's episode 7 of the Market Watch series. If you've made it to the end, I really do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and let me know what you think about Giannis and what his floor will be with his prices, especially with his Prism card. Like I said, I think his floor will be much higher than where it was before, but I still think it's going to fall with time in the off season. So I appreciate it if you've made it to the end. As always, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And as always, I'll see you guys in future videos. Take care.